Hey everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a topic that's close to my heart: attracting pollinators to your garden. Bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds not only make our gardens beautiful, but they also play a vital role in helping our plants thrive. Understanding the importance to attract pollinators helps you see the interconnected nature in your garden. Why do pollinators matter? Bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds are all very small, but they fulfill a massive and irreplaceable role in the reproduction of many plants. Honeybees carry pollen from one flower to another in a process called pollination. If plants were not able to reproduce in this way, many would fail to produce seeds and fruit, meaning you would not find some of your favorite foods or a number of beautiful flowers. For now, simply close your eyes and visualize the last time you had a delicious bite of an apple, or bit into that ripe juicy tomato. You can have these tasty morsels thanks to the attract pollinators that did their job. In fact, when you attract pollinators to your garden, it serves much more than making your garden colorful, promoting the cycle that keeps your garden and the food supply alive. Every pollinator visit, like a bulb of the puzzle, will keep the magic alive in your garden. Doing your part with a bee-friendly garden is both rewarding and allows you to give something back to the environment in a beautiful way. How do you start doing this, you ask? The best way to do that is one of the first steps: luring in attract pollinators, such as bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds. Without them, your garden would be without this critical component which allows plants to reproduce and grow. First, the choice in plants is essential. Different plants attract pollinators. Species of these beneficial insects and birds, which receive more advantageous nectar and pollen, are strongly preferred by some plants. Take care to choose plants that will complement the larger ecosystem. The obvious example would be that native species have the advantage in competitive interactions because they are adapted to the local climate, soil. Native pollinators have evolved alongside these ecosystems, relying on their associated plants for food and habitat. Attractive gardens that invite pollinators to enter. Designing your garden with the intention to attract pollinators can be exciting and ably rewarded. Now, picture turning your garden into a buzzing sanctuary away from home for bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds. A pollinator oasis is one of the best ways to attract these critters. In other words, creating a refuge for the things that we need in production by way of food, water, and shelter contained within your sanctuary, which is your garden. Use a number of flowers with a lot of different shape, color, and size variations. Hummingbirds are attracted to the tubular flowers, where other attract pollinators prefer flat-topped or clustered blooms. A combination of colors can also work, as other pollinators are drawn towards different colors. Butterflies are attracted to bright, bold colors and will land on those types of flowers more often than bees and other pollinators, who prefer blue or purple ones. Including the correct features can make a big difference when you design a lively garden. One of the main objectives you might have is to entice pollinator, and there are some key things that work toward that goal. The first thing is to look around the watering area. Bees and butterflies also require clean water. It is a necessary food item of some species. If you have the means, put in a shallow bird bath or a small pond and give birds a life-saving resource. Keep the water easy to get at, that has a gentle slope or stepping stones so pollinators will not mistakenly drown. Even a modest dish with some stones in it can provide these helpful insects a cool drink. They might also be enticed by the peaceful sound of a small fountain splashing along. Now consider housing and breeding places. To diversity habitats for pollinators that need places to rest and lay their eggs. For example, bees can use nesting boxes or piles of twigs and leaves. You probably know this, but you can make these habitats from leaving some part of garden a bit messy, using brush piles, or by placing bee hotels. Stewarding a pollinator-friendly landscape does take some continued effort, but the dividends are substantial. In order to bring pollinators in your gardens, the space has to be inviting all throughout the year. This involves focusing on parts of the elements which guide garden, through some attention, and making a beautiful form. One such natural practice is pest controlling using local crops. Go organic to protect the pollinators. Do not use harsh insecticides that can actually kill them by accident when trying to get rid of pests. You could bring in predatory insects such as ladybugs or lacewings, which are natural predators of pests. Concerning the keep pests away theme, as indicated by online resource for hares, a companion planting technique can be useful. This implies developing certain plants together that in fact help ward off irritations ordinarily. For instance, marigolds, if planted near your vegetables, are known to keep aphids away. It will keep the environmental stable for pollinators and ignore ruining the ecosystem in gardens. Watching your pollinators will teach you the secrets to turning that part of your garden into an abundance of life and color. So, it would be nice to do everything we can to utilize them when you have successfully attracted them into your garden, right? With a little observant gardening, you can create an environment that caters to their habits and personal tastes for living in the garden. Start with a garden journal. This simple tool will let you know what kinds of pollinators are visiting your garden, which plants they prefer, and when to expect them. Keep the flowers they are into and the time of day, which you saw them most often. You can also keep a journal of your garden so you remember what plants you added in which areas, and if you made any changes to a feature. Over time, you will have a record of what has worked or not to attract pollinators to your garden. There are patterns, interesting ones to witness if you pay attention. For example, you may observe that certain types of flowers are favored by bees, or that butterflies prefer sunnier locations. This is super important knowledge if you want to tweak your plantings depending upon how much pollinator attention they're attracting. However, if you notice some herbs getting bought more often than the others, then maybe it is wise to plant more of those. If some plants aren't attracting a lot of pollinators, you may also wish to replace them with species that are more attractive. It is also essential to record seasonal observations. Pollinators work seasonally. Different pollinators are around at different times of the year. Early risers like bees awakening from their winter hibernation in spring, and more butterflies rising in summer. So taking note of these alliances can guide you as to what to plant and when, if you wish to maintain blooms for visiting pollinators from early spring right through fall. Engaging the community will magnify your ability to establish a robust, attract pollinators landscape. Sure, you are doing a good work by attracting pollinators in your garden, but what if you can create an impact by inspiring someone else into creating theirs? First of all, educate the people around you about the importance of pollinators. You could hold workshops or give talks in local community centers, schools, etc. Pollinators such as bees and butterflies play a critical role in the ecosystem, so spread the word. Share that everyone can make a difference in their garden. The beneficial effects of all those sorts of plantings are good for the ecosystem as a whole, but the discussion will grow more useful if we also talk about how to make our landscapes specifically attractive, so these work for free, essential creatures want to hang out in them. Community projects are also an excellent means of engaging the community. Partner with local organizations or schools to build a pollinator garden within the community, and in the process to involve others in planting. You share your enthusiasm and create a combined effort that has an even greater potential for impact. Community gardens can be great local educational hot spots to teach people about what you all of the pollinator-friendly practices, hands-on in a public space. Organize neighborhood garden tours or local seed plant swaps. Host to attract pollinators garden contest, where people submit their established pollinator-friendly gardens or swap plants that are attractive to bees and butterflies. The events effectively bring locals together which spreads awareness of the value of pollinators amongst people. Print relevant articles in the form of brochures or flyers helps to reach even more people, sharing these resources at farmers markets and libraries or on community bulletin boards. Add information on attracting pollinators, like planting local plants and keeping water clean. Offering step-by-step instructions can allow others to act for pollinator conservation. Partner with local nurseries, garden centers for special events. This could mean lining up expert talks on pollinator-friendly gardening, or discounts on plants that are proven to draw in more pollinators. For example, by working with these businesses, not only will you be supporting local commerce, but also extending your educational reach. Establishing a lush green eco-friendly garden can be fun and rewarding. A few things that are needed to attract pollinators are discussed and made clear to the beginners. So begin with these most important first steps to bring a diversity to attract pollinators into your garden. Include some different native plants species that provide rich in nectar and pollen. Not only does this ensure that food is available, as long as there are flowers to produce it, but the variety of blooms also attract different sorts of pollinators, from bees to butterflies. Why not make your garden more desirable to pollinators? One act you can take is to add water sources like bird baths or shallow dishes that will give them some necessary hydration. This is what makes your garden an oasis to thirsty pollinators. Similarly, building shelter and nesting structures are a must. For example, stacks of leaves or bee hotels can provide a place for pollinators to rest and lay eggs. Spread the word and teach others of the importance of pollinators, how important they are to our world, and how creating a way station is simple. Better awareness through sharing knowledge and experience. My intention is, the more people we educate and inspire to start this rewarding job. Don't forget to keep a garden journal of the progress of your garden. Compile a list to document what the most attractive plants are for different pollinators, and see how changes will affect their activity. This long-term observation will help you keep learning from your garden. Happy gardening, and I can't wait to see your gardens bloom.